All right, all right, all right. Party at the Moon Tower. Kegs on the way as we speak, as Wooderson would say. We are Plate and Ponder Empty Nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton. And for the first time in quite some time, we actually have the Jen Fenton part of the title here.
I'm back.
We are excited. I know the audience is really excited, even though...
They?
Yes. 100%.
I don't know. My dad actually, okay, two things about my dad. I love it. He called me this afternoon and he's like, okay, I tried to get a hold of Chris, but he didn't pick up his phone. You have to tell him that he plays the music too loud. Kind of like your sneeze when I commented on your sneeze and a listener then DM'd you and said, oh my God, it totally startled me. I feel seen that my dad actually agrees with me on the music. Either that or I'm turning into somebody who's really old and I don't know, but I'm just, I feel so seen and heard and it made me so happy.
Well, I will say that I experimented while you were gone in Europe, which was fantastic. We actually did a Plate and Ponder episode with you in from Europe. You called in from Europe.
From London, yeah.
With actually my brother-in-law and awesome sister-in-law were there, which was really cool. And you can give us a little recap of that trip if you would like. But I will say that I had some great guests while you were gone. I had Emil Gladstone. I had Billy McIlvain. I had Greg Cohen. I had great comments and input about those. But yes, we tried the video, and we're going to go back to video because now I think I've figured it out. The IT department, the technical division of Plate and Ponder has... Is
it expanding or just getting more expertise?
It is, it's trial and error, and the IT technology department has figured this out a little bit. So we're going to go, I know we're going to go out to dinner tonight, and you haven't quite gotten ready yet, so you didn't want to have this one on video.
No,
but
I look good.
We're going to have ones on video, and I know it's going to always be some sort of crazy courtship to try to get Jen ready to go for a video. But when we do it, it's going to be powerful and awesome. And I'm also going to try some more guests too, with Jen or without, depending on whether she wants to be involved. I'm hoping she does, because it seems like from the comments, most people like Jen more than Chris. Yes. Yes, indeed. Anyway, but they also do like Flynn.
Well, obviously.
So
he needs a haircut. And I'm a little nervous because the last time we got a haircut, okay, let me pull back. Boop, 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 boop. We used to go to Healthy Spot, and he used to have a groomer, Luis, and it was a regular, and we would go every 5 weeks, and Flynn always looked good. And then Healthy Spot by us closed, and I think we've talked about that in other episodes where it was like your dream job slipped away.
Yes.
Because you wanted to be the greeter at Walmart, but at Healthy Spot instead.
That's okay, though. I'll still open up a little walk-up Dairy Queen.
Okay. We can talk about that again at another point. Anyways, so we had to find another groomer, and we called another groomer over the holidays. I think we shared with everybody, and Flynn got into the creepy van. And it was bad. So now I have a little bit of I don't know, post-traumatic stress. The dog needs to be groomed. I mean, the dog has hair growing into his eyes, yet I feel like we can't call a random groomer because what if he looks bad and Dylan and his friends are coming into town on Thursday and I don't want Flynn to look bad.
Well, I do think that the like that crazy Neymar haircut that I got Dylan when he was 8 or 9 years old, and he cried and you cried and everybody cried. It did grow out pretty nicely eventually at some point. Flynn's cut did grow out pretty nice too.
Really cute.
He just was lopsided for a while.
He was lopsided, and I feel like, okay, when you have school pictures and you want to find that perfect outfit and you get your hair cut and all of that, for some reason I want to make sure Flynn looks good for Dylan and his friends.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we really want him looking dapper. We want Dylan's friends to go back to Montreal and talk about this incredible dog that they met and how amazingly handsome he is.
Yes.
Except he is going to bark at them the whole time, and they're going to be really irritated and probably not have the best opinion of him after a certain amount of time, unless he chills.
Yeah, well, that's true. I do think there's a couple friends that he might not bark at. I'm not going to say their names, But in my head, let's see if my hypothesis is right.
Well, it's going to be a really fun time. And I will tell you that my birthday, my 39th birthday is coming up next week or week after, I think.
It is.
Like
yeah. It's on the 5th. So in case people want to, sing happy
it's
birthday.
It's not on the 5th.
Oh, I mean, it's the 4th.
OMG.
It's on March 4th.
Oh, wow.
Goodness gracious.
Yes, and that is recorded. Oh, I'm going to play that one back
I am
many
getting
times.
death stares right now. Okay, it's on the 4th, and it is, Chris said it's 39th. It's around that.
It's 55.
It's
55.
And 5s and 0s, those are birthdays that are milestone, and you're supposed to celebrate. And I actually did ask you how you wanted to celebrate. And one of the ideas, and I think you were okay with it for like a hot second, was taking over a restaurant and doing a dinner party with all of our friends and Dylan and his buddies and family. But somehow this 39th birthday party has turned into a pizza party because that is what you want.
Yeah, but not just pizza. Like I know the good pizza places. Like there's like literally 3 I will do in all of LA County, and that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna have. I'm not getting out the Chateauneuf de Pop for these guys because they're just gonna chug it. So we're just gonna go Côte de Rhône, which is fine by me. I love a great French table wine.
But we're gonna have some of our friends over too.
Okay, well maybe they'll have some like nicer stuff, but the boys don't really need that because.
But it's a pizza party, and I'm joking mildly. But do I need to go to like the party store and get pizza napkins and pizza plates and make it look like you're 7 years old?
No, but maybe we get skee ball or something and make it look like a Chuck E. Cheese or a round table. No, you're making it sound so Bush League, but it's
a pizza party.
Pizza. I love pizza, and I'm going to be in
salad.
New York City seeing my parents in March for a couple days, and I'm really excited about eating real pizza while I'm there. In fact, breakfast, lunch, and dinner will be pizza.
You're not.
Shout out to Arturo's. Shout out to Lombardi's.
And for our listeners who think he's exaggerating, I am telling you right now, he is not. This man loves pizza.
I actually think I'm the original Dave Portnoy when it comes to that. Although Plain Ponder doesn't quite have the audience yet, but when our audience gets to the size of Barstool, I am going to go on a pizza search around the country to find the best pizza, and you're going to come with me because we're going to also complement it with the pizza places that have the best salads.
Right, because I can't eat cheese, so the whole pizza search does me no good.
Yeah, and sometimes the salad search doesn't either because for some reason we're not allowed to, or we're not able to take the cheese out of the salad.
Seriously, why do salads have to have cheese?
I don't know. I think it's a plot against
salads,
you or something.
You know what? Salads really shouldn't have fruit either. Like
really?
A Chinese chicken salad, and
but
you
what
have those
salads
mandarin
do?
Well, a Chinese chicken salad has those mandarin oranges.
Sometimes a chopped has that like dried the grapes, the dried grapes in there, or the cherries or something. Or
sometimes they'll do like a walnut salad with pears.
That's right.
I'm okay with that, but I don't know. I'm a little bit of a traditionalist, and I just don't think that salads should have fruit or cheese.
Well, that's why, honestly, I don't eat salad. Woo! Yes. So, you know what's another thing that we were talking about earlier that could be something we talk about? It could have been on this podcast, but we were going through the subjects that we wanted to hit. But that amazing question of what do you remember as most pivotal during your 4th grade year of life?
Well, it's come up a few times.
Wait, did somebody else bring that up?
Well, actually, yes. I was talking about it with my boss, and it sort of came back, and it wasn't necessarily 4th grade, but what happens during childhood is often triggers, if you will, I mean, sometimes it goes into addiction, sometimes it goes into, other sort of issues. But what happens in your childhood really does, I think, impact, and it's a little bit of a foreshadow. So why don't you tell the example of the blog with the 4th grader who couldn't play sports anymore?
Well, and first of all, I want to give a shout out to your boss, Danielle, who I got to know last night. If I had the opportunity to go to the school district that she was running, that would have been epic because she is a rock star.
Yeah, she's pretty phenomenal. Curriculum leader, and just she's great. She really is.
So the fourth grade thing came up the other day because there's a guy named Eric. Oh no, it was Mike Forster, the psychologist.
Yes, that's it.
He has a newsletter, and he was talking about how people's in their adulthood are shaped by a couple moments in their childhood that are pivotal. And fourth grade is one of those where he stresses is one of the most pivotal ages that shape the way an adult thinks. So does it have to be fourth grade, or is it in that third, fourth, fifth grade time frame when your mind? I mean, it's definitely a development standpoint. I'm not a child psychologist, but I have a feeling, kind of like when babies reach certain milestones, like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and they do their tricks, like they start crawling or rolling over, all those things. I wonder what happens at that time frame developmentally that sort of imprints on you in such a way that could make or break you as an adult. Well, his name, first of all, his name is Mike Foster, and he is some sort of psychologist. I get this newsletter from, somebody turned me on to it, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But he says 3 things happen developmentally to make fourth grade a very formative year for all people and the way they're shaped as an adult. One has to be one reason for it. It's when meaning making begins. Meaning making begins. Kids stop asking what happened, and they start asking, what does this say about me? Second, it's when social re-ranking happens.
What does that mean?
It means before fourth grade, if mom says you're great, you believe her. But around 9 or 10, peer opinion starts to outweigh what your parents tell you.
Wait a minute. So do Dylan and Kaylee not think they're awesome? Because I tell them all the time.
I don't know.
Oh, but I love you guys. You're awesome to me.
Well, there's 2 other reasons too. He says third, it's when performance becomes public. Up until fourth grade, nobody really cares if you're the best at anything. It's all just for fun. But somewhere around this age, grades start to count. Sports get more competitive. There are tryouts and cuts. Failure becomes personal. And then he says the bottom line, fourth grade isn't when the wound happens, but it's often when the explanation hardens.
Well, I actually want to kind of think about, and this is something we were talking about with my boss, that show Intervention. Okay. I don't know if everybody who's listened has seen it, but it's something that you and I used to watch all the time. And if you think about every single one of those episodes, something happened in the childhood. And it was probably around this fourth grade time that made that pivotal imprint that, I guess made or break the human. And on the Intervention show, it obviously, it was trauma that then caused them to drink or take drugs or do other things.
Well, what's interesting is that he uses an example. So I guess when he meets with people for the first time, he talks to them about their fourth grade experience and says just off the cuff, like without thinking about it too much, what do you remember about fourth grade? And it is interesting because I don't remember specifics about fourth or fifth or third grade in certain ways. I have to think about, who are my teachers? Okay, who are in my classes? Do I remember any crazy stuff? I mean, fourth grade was probably when I got sent to the woodshed the most, when I was at North Palm Beach public school or private school.
Because you talk too much? Constant Comment?
Constant Comment was the nickname that Mrs. Ashley gave me in fifth grade. But I think she knew a lot about me from fourth grade because that's when I got sent to the woodshed. And that was actually back when Mr. Twilliger, our principal, when you got sent to the woodshed, he would actually spank you with a 2x4. It was like hardcore. It was
crazy.
No, you couldn't sit for like literally days. It really hurt. And then there was always the rumors of like the more you get sent there, the crazier the board gets. Like they put nails in it and splinters and whatever else like that. I never saw that, but boy, did I get whacked in the butt a bunch of times. To the point where there was one time I remember I got sent to the woodshed and I refused to go. You know, he was probably waiting for me, and I actually hid in the bushes where carpool picks up until carpool actually happened. At the end of the day, I was out there for like 4 hours in the bushes.
And, little Chris with your bowl haircut and your blonde hair.
I was waiting in the bushes, and then somebody's mom came to pick us up. I think it was like Andy Taylor's mom, and I get in the car and we go. And then of course I get home and I'm at home, and then the phone rings like at dinner time, and my parents pick it up, and you're like, who's calling? And then wrath hit the fan because whoever called, I think it was the principal or the principal's office, called and said that I was supposed to go to the woodshed and I didn't show up. And then the next day, I had to go to the woodshed. It was terrible.
What happened?
I think that time I was disrupting band. Mr. Schaefer did not like me.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I didn't take band super seriously, although I could play a me and alto sax. I was actually pretty good at the alto sax.
Is that where Kaylee gets her musical talent from?
Yeah, she was more talented than me at the violin, you know, compared to my saxophone in fourth grade. It was although I used to get paid $2 an hour to play at kids' parties.
$2 an hour. That was probably a hefty fee at that point.
Oh my God! In fourth grade, that was like a massive amount of money.
Can I?
All right. So wait. So go back. So wait.
No, but
really
I want
quick.
to segue.
Okay. So, but I will say the one thing is, so he talked. He was talking about this Mike Foster guy talked about fourth grade in terms of one of his patients and one of his clients, and one of his clients said that in fourth grade he was the best athlete in his school, and then he got hit by a car and it broke his leg. And that was the moment where he had to sit on the sideline, and it took him out of athletics for like a good year of his life. And he actually really never came back in a certain way to the promise that he had as an athlete. But that was when he suddenly had his whole identity taken away from him. And it affected the way he looked at himself for the rest of his life, to the point where he was always overcompensating for things, always trying to make himself as impressive as possible, work as hard as he could, because he felt like he missed out on the thing that really made him stand out. So everything else he did, he felt like he had to go way overboard, and he became very OCD about it.
Interesting.
Okay, so that was fourth grade. So now what else do you want to talk about?
Well, I think that
First of all, how was Europe?
Oh, so good. So good. But let me talk about fourth grade first, because we're on the topic of fourth grade. And in fourth grade, a lot of girls are in Girl Scouts. And for those who are in the U.S., it is Girl Scout cookie time. And you go to the market, you go to Target, you go absolutely any place, and you've got the cookie booths, right? You've got your Girl Scouts who have their tables set up. And do you want to buy Girl Scout cookies? And they have it all lined up, and they have their posters, or you get the email from somebody you know whose daughter is selling Girl Scouts, and you buy. And I bought a ton of Girl Scout cookies for the kids. Dylan will get them on Thursday when his friends come, and we're going to bring some to New Orleans when we see Kaylee. But it's kind of a racket. And I found out that these cookies cost $6 a box. The Girl Scout troop gets $1.
By the way, are they only $6 a box? I feel
only?
like outside,
that's a lot of money.
I know, but I actually feel like they might have more expensive ones here. Like, I feel like I spend more than that when I buy them at Vons from those kids out in the front.
I think they're like $6 a box.
Okay, well, $6 is crazy, because how much goes to the Girl Scouts?
$1. And I did some research because I was totally perplexed and thinking that it's a racket. And I was on the board of Susan G. Komen a long time ago, and one of the things that they really sort of were proud of is how few of the operating expenses went to the overhead, and a majority of the money, I mean, I think that they were probably in like the upper 80s, percentage wise, went to research, went to, cancer patients, went to things in the breast cancer world rather than paying for, the printing and the office and the copies and all that. So when you think about Girl Scouts, it's a nonprofit, right? So if $1 for every $6 box of cookie only goes to the girls, where does the rest of the money go? And I looked it up, and apparently $3.25 goes to council. So that's probably their national. Okay, so over 50% goes to this national organization.
It's not council like general, like attorneys.
No,
it's just councils.
It's they're
with an IL. Council.
Yes. And then you have $1.75, $2 that goes to production. Now the production, they say, are bakeries that are in the community. Okay, totally cool. So I actually took a box of the Samoas and the Thin Mints, and I flipped it over, and I had to put on my glasses to read the very, very fine print. And I'm like, oh, where did this box come from, right? I knew it wasn't China, but I was super curious, this local bakery or this community bakery. And I found out that the bakery is called Little Brownie Bakers. At least that's what was on the bottom of my boxes.
Okay.
And Little Brownie Bakers, where are we located?
Little Brownie Bakers. What do you mean? Where are we located?
Yeah, where are we located?
Southern California.
So what would you consider a community bakery?
Probably somewhere in Southern California.
Okay, so if I told you that it was in Louisville, Kentucky, that to me is not my community. Like, I know it's somebody's community, but it's not my community.
Well, the good thing is that it's an American-made cookie.
Well,
I thought you were going to tell me it was made in China.
No, it's definitely not a China company, but I was like, this isn't my community. Like, I mean, I don't know. So I was still really perplexed that $1 stays in my community. And that's the $1 that goes to the Girl Scouts. There was also some articles how people were saying that we're basically using child labor to sell products.
Yeah, they're probably fourth graders,
right? So that's why.
And they probably are like, they go see Mike Foster, the psychoanalyst, and they're like, "What do you remember about fourth grade?" I remember being taken advantage of by the Girl Scouts. I was made to sling cookies,
Thin Mint cookies
out in
at
the
Ralph's.
cold. Yeah, I mean, by the way, they're selling them. Are they selling them right now? So they have, are these people like selling them outside of Walmart in Chicago, Illinois or whatever? Like that's one thing here in Manhattan Beach, but holy moly.
I mean, today I was in Beverly Hills, and outside the Crate and Barrel, there was a whole Girl Scout troop that was set up selling their cookies.
That's Camp Beverly Hills.
That is probably Camp Beverly Hills. Troop Beverly Hills. If you want to get
Troop
specific.
Beverly Hills?
That was such a good movie. No. Camp Beverly Hills was a clothing brand that you saw at like Kitson and things like that. But Troop Beverly Hills.
Was that like Beverly Hills Bikini? Or
that was with Dorit from Beverly Hills Housewives. You're
right.
confusing
PK,
some of it.
PK financed that.
PK did finance. Or maybe Boy George did.
Boy George's commissions that went to PK financed Beverly Hills Bikini.
Yes. But in any case, Troop Beverly Hills was outside Crate and Barrel peddling their cookies.
That is fascinating to me. Like, what a crazy...
Our daughter did it. I mean, don't...
No, I know.
I was a Girl Scout.
No, but I also remember, playing Little League or whatever as a kid, and we had to go sell candy bars and stuff. And if you sold the most candy bars, you got to go to Cooperstown or something, to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and an all expense paid thing, and every kid wanted to raise it. But it was really just it was probably a scam in a lot of ways. You would think bake sales, like actual homemade cookie bake sales.
Bake sales freak me out, just like
poo fingers.
Potlucks.
You don't like poo fingers.
It freaks me. Like,
you
how
don't
do you know?
What kid was like not
or
washing
what
their
adult?
hands.
Maybe like an adult picked their nose. I don't know.
So
that freaks me out.
The little kids that are selling cookies like really freak me out, because you're just like, oh, they probably picked their nose and then they make them, and it's like, oh god. Anyway, but I mean, we want to support obviously these things, but sometimes we're a little nervous about the quality of the food.
Oh, the bake that you're going to the bake sale. I was going back to the Girl Scouts.
Okay.
I think I bought 6 boxes of Samoas, 6 boxes of Thin Mints, and I bought one other. It was a new cookie.
So let's talk about what's the best bang for the buck. If you are paying the $6, is it the Thin Mints because there's so many of them? I wonder what the weight of them is.
Oh, that's a good question. I could look at the box. Although I would have to think the Samoas, because if you think about it, there's caramel, there's chocolate.
Yeah, but there's only like 8 of them.
But there's the cookie component and there's the coconut. Coconut's not cheap.
It isn't, but there's the way they pack it in. They have these plastic things that separate all the cookies. I swear, I had a Samoa's and there are like 8 of them in there. There's like it's almost nothing.
Well, it does feel like not only have cookie prices gone up, it also feels like the number of cookies that you get in a box has gone down.
I do think for my walk-up Dairy Queen that only has Blizzards.
Oh, we're going back to that?
Well, I'm wondering about a Samoan.
Not a Samoan.
A Samoa cookie Blizzard. That would be actually pretty interesting.
Okay,
and how about a Thin Mint one too?
Would you only do it during Girl Scout cookie time, which is February? Kind of, you know how 31 Flavors has the moments of certain kind of ice cream du jour?
Yes, I do. And there's all kinds of interesting
like green
interloping with different brands and things. Like Oreo is like obviously a known brand, but they don't have like the generic thing. It's like an Oreo cookie Blizzard or a Heath Bar Blizzard, that kind of stuff. And
do they have the rights to that?
Yes, they have. They make a certain deal, and I think Oreo actually gets a percentage of all those sales.
Oh.
So it's not only
you could probably work out a deal with the Girl Scouts.
I bet you the Girl Scouts have a very sophisticated licensing situation where like it's very difficult to license a Girl Scout cookie or a Girl Scout something on anything. And if they do allow you to do it, I bet you they get a pretty good skim, would be my guess.
Well, as by the cookie sales,
yes.
If they're taking $3.25 or $3.50, then yeah, they're getting a pretty good deal.
So, and that's so interesting that it all relates to fourth grade too, because in fact, I even reconnected with Richie Sutter today, who I knew in fourth grade. Now that I think of it, and he went to Palm Beach Gardens Elementary. We knew each other through sports. So yeah, yes, again, that sort of plays into the Mike Foster thing with the sports thing with the guy who's like affected later on in his adulthood. Fourth grade is actually a really interesting moment, and I'm amazed. I was actually a Cub Scout. And I think I got enough of those merit badges or whatever you're supposed to get to become, was it a Weebelo? No, what was?
I don't know. A Boy Scout, right? Don't you go from
what's
Cub
a brown?
Scout to
You
Boy
go
Scout?
from Brownie to Girl Scout.
You go from Daisy
to Brownie
to Girl Scout.
Okay, and then I feel like there was something between Cub Scout and Boy Scout that I made it to, but then I gave up. It was like ridiculous. I remember the soapbox derby that we did.
They still do those.
Oh my gosh. And my dad, who's an engineer by trade, he figured out like how to make the car as heavy as possible by opening up the wood and putting lead weights into it.
Oh, it's genius.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think we would have won, except I didn't put the tires or whatever, the wheels on right, so it didn't go as straight as it needed to. Sort of like the pumpkin races.
Yeah, that never did well.
Yeah, that was not effective. So, all right.
Do you want me to now tell you about my trip?
I would love to hear about this incredible cosmopolitan trip.
And then I actually think I know how I'm going to segue to the next subject. The trip was phenomenal. I think I shared I went to London for a few days and I visited my sister and my brother-in-law, stayed there, got to do London, not necessarily in the touristy way, but do London like somebody who lives there.
Like Morrissey.
No, but
like
sure.
Like Liam and Noel Gallagher.
Yeah, no, but sure.
Like David Beckham.
Okay, that's better.
Okay, there you go. Keep going.
And we had a lovely time. Honestly, the weather was phenomenal. And it was just great to walk around London, to like pop into the shops, to have great meals, to have great conversations with Ryan and Allie, and then my dad. And my dad was a trooper. Let me tell you something. He walked like 15,000 steps, every single day. And if we had wine at lunch, he drank with us. If we had wine at dinner, he drank with us. If we wanted to pop in and have, like a midday martini, he did. He was phenomenal.
I feel like I should have like a button here that does dun 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 dun.
Presidential?
Or maybe that's France. But whatever the royals coming out, because I will tell you, every time I saw a photo of you and your dad looked really debonair. He should have had a top hat.
He was so happy. We went to the Victoria and Albert Museum and we saw a phenomenal exhibit on Marie Antoinette, and they had dresses that were actually Marie Antoinette's. They had hair pieces, they had shoes, they had clothing inspired by her. And then at the end of the exhibit, there were like modern day designers like John Galliano, who did a bunch of dresses Marie Antoinette inspired. They had a bunch of Manolos because there was like a Marie Antoinette inspired line. So that was super cool. I had a really good time.
Did you go to the Prince Andrew Museum?
Okay, we're not talking about Prince Andrew.
Oh.
Nobody in London talks about Prince Andrew.
Oh, I wonder why.
And he's not even a prince anymore. We should just refer to him as Andrew.
Okay, well, did you guys go to the Meghan Markle Museum?
Meghan Markle is American. She's not British.
Oh, I thought she was a duchess or something. No?
I think I can't even remember, but I feel like they lost their title when they left for Santa Barbara. In any case, after London, we took the Channel to Paris. And it was a beautiful train ride and the service was lovely. We got to Paris and it was a little rainy. We walked from the hotel to the d'Orsay. The d'Orsay on a Sunday in the rain was...
That is the Musée d'Orsay.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite museums, although this was not the most favorite experience. I think just because there was
just too crowded, huh?
It was way too crowded.
Well, there was that Chinese scandal about how they were all sneaking into the d'Orsay.
Was it the d'Orsay or the Louvre?
Well, the Louvre too. Like one ticket for 250 Chinese. Like it was some scandal. I think they milked them of $12 million in admissions.
I don't know, but it was really busy. And then afterwards we walked around. We went shopping. Paris again was not necessarily a touristy, let's hit the Eiffel Tower, let's hit the this, the that. It was just kind of wandering and walking and being. And it was a really special time to be with my dad and my sister. And you don't get that concentrated 4 or 5 days when, I'm 47 years old and my dad is 75 and you don't get that.
Did you use any of the French that I've taught you over the years?
You don't speak French.
I do.
No, you're like, where is the bathroom?
Yes, exactly.
And you use that hand gesture. So no, and I didn't even speak Spanish. My sister actually has been really good. She got in the car, she got into the taxis or the Ubers, and she started to at least try and communicate with the drivers or if we walked into a store. She was really good. Did
you run into Gérard Depardieu?
I think that you know the answer.
Oh. You didn't. How about Jacques Cousteau?
Yeah, no. I think you know the answer.
Who else? Macron?
You are so weird.
Emmanuel Macron?
You are so bizarre. No. I didn't, but it was really a great...
How about Jean-Michel Basquiat?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Okay, all right. So now do you want me to move it to the next subject?
Yeah, what is the next subject?
The next subject actually isn't the happiest one.
Ooh.
But it kind of just reminds me of the time that I spent with my dad, Eric Dane. Dr. Steamy passed away.
And by the way, can I argue that the season or two of Grey's Anatomy that I did actually pay attention to, I would argue he was the better looking of the McDreamies.
I don't know about that. I think Patrick Dempsey, Patrick Dempsey has aged really well. I always thought that he was handsome even in Can't Buy Me Love.
But he was a terrible dancer.
Are you just saying that because Can't Buy Me Love?
Yes.
He did the African anteater dance.
Exactly. That did not work.
It didn't work for him. But he got the girl at the end. Let's go back to Eric Dane. And he recorded a 5-minute message to his daughters that brought me to tears. If anybody hasn't watched it, I would highly encourage you to search it out either on YouTube. I think Netflix was actually the one that recorded it. And in this 5-minute kind of monologue, and his speech is It's hard to hear because he was really struggling, and there's subtitles because you don't understand him very well. But he had these beautiful lessons for his daughter. And, the one thing or the first thing he talked about is that, look, this disease, he had ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, and it's horrible. And he said that instead of wallowing in worry and self-pity and shame, like, this disease forced him to be present. And he encouraged his daughters to be present because you really do need to cherish every moment. He encouraged his daughters to find love. And, he's had sort of I don't want to say a tumultuous relationship with Rebecca Gayheart, but they've had their issues. I think.
Wait, is that his wife?
Or that's
an ex-wife?
No, they were getting divorced, and then she pulled the papers. So they are still married. I remember when
he passed though, right?
Well, right.
Yeah.
So, but they were still married, and she helped take care of him to the end. But his whole thing was, look, finding a love, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a person, although that's great too, but find something that makes you excited, makes you get out of bed, makes you think about anything is possible, right? And it's just this passion. And he said that acting was that love of his, and he found it when he was in college, and it really got him through the darkest of the days.
Well, he said to fall in love with something,
right? But not necessarily a person.
Exactly. So, and then on top of it, he also talked about the importance of friends. And
well, I love that one. And he said to his daughter, pick your friends wisely. And that's something as a parent that you always say, right? Like, make good choices. But he talked about, with his friends, he used to be able to go out. He used to be able to go to the gym, to dinners, to dancing. But when the disease really took hold, he couldn't. And it was the friends that showed up, literally just came over and sat with him. That's what made the biggest difference. And so I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, it was. And then, we didn't even talk about it, I don't think, but James Van Der Beek had something somewhat similar. His final...
he passed away of cancer.
Right. And that was right before you left for Europe.
It was.
And his video was extremely touching too.
Yeah, his video, he sort of, I don't know if he was always religious, but he found religion in this process. And he kind of gave it to, he said to God, right? Like, I've given this to God, and whatever God's will is. And that was his sort of message. But it was this moment where of faith. I think faith and love are the two things that resonate in both of these deceased videos.
And if you go back to that fourth grade thing about the athlete who couldn't be an athlete, I think if I recall Van Der Beek's, which I saw that 2 weeks ago, I guess now, he talked about how what defined him in his early days was very different than what was most important that defined him later in life, which was a father, a husband, somebody who could provide, all that kind of stuff. And then when was it cancer that killed him?
James Van Der Beek?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the cancer took hold, he couldn't provide, he couldn't be a good father, he couldn't be a good husband, and that was taken away from him, that identity. And that was when he had to find something else,
something bigger than himself. And that's kind of the love that Eric Dane, and the last part of the video, and I want to read it, and we can go out on this note if you want, because it's really beautiful. He said, so when something unexpected hits you, and it will, because that's life, face it with honesty, integrity, and grace, even if it feels or seems insurmountable. I hope I've demonstrated that you can face anything. You can face anything to the end of your days. You can face hell with dignity. Fight girls and hold your heads up high. But it's beautiful.
Beyond touching. It's beautiful. It's haunting when you watch that video.
Yeah.
It was it did look like, I haven't read into it, but it looked like Netflix provided the production capability somehow and actually shot it really professionally.
It is beautiful to watch.
Which makes it even more powerful because although I will say that Van Der Beek just went off on his iPhone, and I thought that was extremely powerful too. You saw how weak he looked at the time when he did it. Both of them. It's just enjoy every minute.
Yeah,
is the bottom line. And embrace your friends, and embrace your family, embrace every moment of life. Try not to scroll all the time. Listen to really good podcasts.
Like Plate and Ponder. I like that segue.
Listen to podcasts that are now in 42 nations around the world.
Wow, I am so impressed.
Nations.
When do we get... I really want an energy bar to sponsor us. When does that happen?
Yeah, if anybody has a energy bar...
I don't know why. For some reason, to me, that feels like I've made it.
Well, the other thing I'd say is how about Henry Disser? You want to do Hank's Pickles with us or something like that? That would
Hank's
be sort of cool,
good.
right? We do like Hank's Pickles. Anyway, we
Thank
really
you guys
appreciate
for letting us ponder.
Yeah, and I appreciate 42 countries during the time when Jen wasn't around, because I was a little nervous that maybe it would drop down to 30 countries after a few episodes without Jen. So, Jen, it's so great to have you back.
I love you, baby.
This is Plate and Ponder Empty Nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.